Morning guys and girls, welcome back to Skull and Bone Fishing. Today we're going to make some sabikis and we're going to take them over the harbour walk, see if we can't catch something with them. The water's pretty murky still because of that bloody horrible easterly wind, but it is what it is. Here we go then. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a whip of thread on the hook. So start at the eye, work my way back a little bit, and then trim off the excess like that. Put that away. Right, the next thing is I'm going to put a little bit of body yarn on it just to bulk the head out a bit. So first things first is you just whip it on there like that, and then you work back along the head and then back to the front again, almost at the front. The main thing to remember when you're tying any flight is not to crowd the eye of the hook, because otherwise you won't get it on the line. So with that done, we then whip this around a bit, just twist it around the hook to about there, and then we just whip it into place. Trim off. Now the next thing I'm going to put on is a couple of bits of crystal flash, just to give it a little bit of underbody. So take flash, same again, just whip it on like that, a couple of turns to secure it, and then you fold it back, and again you just whip it along the body, trying to keep it on the back of the fly. Off the end of the back of the wool, and then the thing to do is give it all a little trim, but not all at the same length. Make the lengths all a little bit different, so then it bulks it all out a little bit nicely. So there we go. Put it all nice and straight, and then the last thing is to tie on the silver of the body. And the idea of this is to mimic the main body of the prey. do this is whip it all along the length of the hook, back up the shank to about there, and again, I don't know if you can see that, because I can't. Trim off the excess. Then we're going to take the silver, I'm going to wrap it the other way. Very carefully. The eye of the hook, where we're then just going to whip it on. Like that. Trim off the excess. And a couple of whips just to secure it all down, and then put on a little whip. Trim off, and that's the body of the fly built. Okay, so last thing to do now, trim off a few of these little stray fibres. The next thing to do is apply a little bit of UV resin just to secure it all on. A bit thicker than I really wanted this stuff, but it's all I've got, so split it by turning the vise, make sure it all gets a nice even coat. That, and then secure it down this is where you see all of the flaws in the fly. And given that I haven't tied a fly for a long time, well, fibre to trim off, and that is it, done. Now the sabikis are made, it's time to put the rig together. So first things first, I have here about 4 feet of 12-pound mainline, and as you can see I have a swivel and a quick link. Now the swivel will go on the top, the quick link on the bottom, and a roughly evenly spaced down the length you'll have the 4 sabikis. So the very first thing to do is to tie the swivel, and that gives me a frame of reference for top and bottom. So loop it through. I just use a standard simple blood knot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back through the loop, begin to pull tight, moisten it, and I don't know about you guys, but when I tie these I don't pull evenly. I just hold the body and I pull the tag end, and it brings it down tight slowly like that. And then what I do is I grip the knot with my fingers, and then I begin to pull on the body, but pulling the knot down, and give it a little tug on the tag end and just slowly work the knot. If you pull it down too tight, you're likely to burn the line and weaken it. Whereas if you work it down slowly, there's less friction, there's less heat generated, and there's less damage done to the line. So there we go. There we have a nice neat little 5-turn blood knot. Just give it one more little pinch down. There we go. And then simply get a scissors and trim close. There we go. Now the next thing to do is to get a branch line. Now I use, for sabikis, I use 7 pound, and I just trim off about 18 inches or so. Oops. And then come down about 8 inches on the rig body, and then you take your branch line and you lay it against the body line so that the short end faces to the bottom. And the reason for this is because when the branch line comes off, you want it coming out of the top to hold the sabiki away from the branch line. And then what I do is I simply make a loop and I turn through once, twice, 3 times. That's all you need to do, just 3. Now, the important thing with this knot is to make sure there is no difference in length between the lines in the loop. And then what you do is you moisten it down and you slowly pull all the lines together, and it'll just flip over almost into a figure of 8 and tighten down. Try and maintain even pressure on them all, but it's not really important, because the beauty of this knot is the harder you pull any one single line, the tighter the knot gets. And I was always taught this was called a water knot, for the simple reason is it needs moistening, and in the water, if it needs to be tightened, the water will tighten it for you, or any pressure will tighten it with the water as a lubricant. So then you just trim your tag end off, and then you leave your branch line like that. Then you come down about another 8 inches and you get another branch line. So 8 inches and another branch line. It's not an exact science, it's just a rough estimate, because I tell you what, fish don't carry tape measures. And then you simply just do exactly the same thing again. A loop over, and then let's just move these bits out of the way. Loop over, 1, 2, 3. Same again, keeping everything nice and even, moisten it down, pull it tight. And there we go, another little branch line tied. And then the last thing to do on the branch line, of course, is to attach a little mini link for a light lead, making sure of course that the little kink faces upwards so that the lead goes on correctly, and again bring it down. I like to give it a little bit more on the bottom, so about 14 inches, and again just a simple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loop blood, missed the hole. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 3. Got it that time. Cool. This is all I ain't got on misses, eh? Moisten, and again start tightening down, just like that. up on the tag end and trim. So there we go, that's the body built. Now it's just a simple matter of tying the flies on, or the sabikis, however you want to call them. And I start at the top, and I always go down from the top of the hook like so. Now how far you have it from the body, of course, is entirely up to you, but I normally go for about 3 to 4 inches. And again, it's just a simple blood knot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Try not to miss the hole again. It's no fun getting old, I tell you. And then again, slowly pull down on the tag end. A little bit of a moisten, and it's the same process. Pull down on the knot, tighten off on the tag, pull down, tighten off, pull down, tighten off. The longer you take over your knots, the more secure they're going to be. And then simply trim, and that is the first one tied on the bottom. Good. And that is the whole rig built. So from the swivel down to the first sabiki, down to the second one, down to the third one, down to the fourth one, and down to the quick link. Now all that remains now is to put it onto a rig winder and wait until we can get it used. So just little nick in there, wind it round, on a set of Sabikis, ready to go. Well, there you have it. That's the rig built, so now it's just a matter of getting out to use it. I will upload another video of the actual use of it rather than add it onto this one, and I'm not sure when that will be at the moment, because although the weather's nice, the wind is up and it's the air show tomorrow. So in the meantime, yeah, if you like the video, then don't forget to let me know. Any questions in the comments please, and hit the subscribe button and smash that bell. Alright, take care guys, tight lines wherever you fish. Bye bye.